So cool.
Wank.
Groovin'.
Swag.
Dollface.
LMAO.
Baby.
Dope.
Swell.
TTYL.
Gnarly. Nifty.
BRB.
Rad. Bitchin'.
Our documentary will attempt to understand the effect popular culture has on language.
We believe that language is deteriorating with the use of popular culture in everyday life. For example, education now uses aspects of popular culture within the classrooms, such as showing movies and YouTube videos.
We believe that this affects our literacy, vocabulary, and informality spoken on a general basis. It is probable that popular culture will take our informal language, such as abbreviations and slangs, to a place where it is acceptable in all social situations.
Popular culture is defined as having folk and popular beliefs, practices, and attitudes that are rooted deep in tradition, as well as mass beliefs, practices, and objects that are rooted deep in economical and political cultures. This means that popular culture started with traditions, however, it has now evolved to include the media as well.
The origin of language will forever remain unclear. However, within the last century, new vocabulary has evolved rapidly. In those days, vocabulary circulated through newspapers and novels. However, today, with the new technology and social media, new vocabulary circulates quicker. How one spoke and wrote revealed character and position just as clearly as dress, wealth, and status. If a new word is successful, meaning it catches on to a subculture, then it will find its way into a dictionary. In 1783, Noah Webster started the first dictionary. 25-year-olds started the American Spelling Book, which sold more than millions of copies. This was essentially Webster's first dictionary. So every year, we add more words to the dictionary, such as romance, a non-sexual friendship between men, or cougar, a middle-aged woman seeking romantic relationships in younger men.
Research has demonstrated that popular culture often finds its way into classroom discourse as well. And this is partly because teachers are unaware of the impact popular culture has on the students' everyday life. An ethnographic study conducted in Singapore observed 9 boys over 9 months for 30 hours each within their homes. Findings were that boys who engaged with popular culture on a regular basis tended to base almost all their conversations with references to videos, movies, and TV shows. Researchers also predict that these boys will be innovators and creators of popular culture in the future.
Brian T. Kissel emphasizes that popular culture is also becoming very popular with pre-kindergarten children. They are now using it to gain power over one another by using intertextual references to TV shows and movies.
Absolutely not. I'm writing for an academic press, University of Toronto, and that's unless you're using the slang for a reason or the abbreviation for a reason, that's something you just don't do, because it brings the tone down.
Chandra Mukherjee and Michael Shudson conducted an ethnographic study in and around schools in Britain. Their research found that there was a counter-school culture and a shop floor culture. The counter-school culture emphasized grammar and sentence structuring, however the shop floor culture emphasized popular culture, slang, and colloquialisms. Findings were that both cultures played a crucial role in people's lives and that both cultures were learned. However, shop floor culture was learned outside the classroom but did play an important role inside the classroom. Clear conclusions offered by Kemp reveal that exposure to abbreviations do not deteriorate our reading, writing, and other language skills.
Students' exposure to misspelled words in new technologies such as cell phones actually improve their spelling. You see, it goes from phonetic spelling to correct spelling.
sure it's really cool.
I think you're really cool.
According to Robert Moore, the term cool, it comes from jazz musicians in the 30s and the 40s, and it meant when you kept your emotions under control. Cool was then popularized by beat poets such as Jack Kerouac. However, today, cool has evolved to mean a term of approval used by teens.
Words of the Year refers to any public expression or words that were most important in the public sphere during that specific year. In 2011, the word of the year was Occupy, which certainly took on a whole different meaning with the media coverage of the protests from Occupy Wall Street to Occupy Toronto. This definitely found its way into popular culture and everyday discussion about the protests. In fact, Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2011 was the protester. Previous years include App, Bailout, Tweet, and Pluto, when Pluto was no longer considered a planet. Also, fun fact, 1992, the year that we were born, the word of the year was not, exclamation mark, as in, this project sucks, not.
I'm the cool dad. That's my thing. I'm hip. I surf the web. I text. LOL. Laugh out loud. OMG. Oh my God. WTF. Why the face? I know all the dances to High School Musical.
Finnegan, for example, defines slang as a variety of speech used in situations of extreme informality, often with rebellious undertones, or an intention of distancing its users from a certain mainstream value. Today's youth often use slang as a form of counterculture against older generations. According to Connie Ebel, in modern society, students are a subculture within themselves because they develop their own vocabulary separate from other youth cultures.
Beth Schweiger argues that the power of language and vocabulary is lost on youth culture. In the 19th century, people were privileged to learn and study and improve one's English. Many of them were self-taught.
Slang is often used when conversing with a close friend. It's more of a taboo to use slang when conversing with someone of a higher status, such as a professor.
Don't know too much about their communication with each other, aside from when I saw it on Facebook, you would see that, yes. But with me, by emails and in their written work and in their video work, it's hard to say that I've seen more of it over 11 years of teaching. Well, yeah, in written communications, the texting has really brought the tone down, and students have great difficulty communicating in any professional sense in their emails.
It would appear that eloquence is lost on youth culture. Moreover, the education of language and grammar is being taken for granted as our vocabulary is being filled with slangs and abbreviations.
Old school approach is always seeing degradation, that things are always getting worse, and the other way of looking at that is saying that it's evolving, it's changing into new styles and new forms. As a older person looking at young people talking, you always feel like they don't know how to talk, they don't know how to write, and they're very bad at communicating, so you feel that it's degrading. But it might not be a degrading thing. It might be just that there's a growing distance between my culture of communication and their culture of communication. So value judgments are very suspect.
Older generations are not as affected by the vocabulary trends as much as students in youth culture. Although popular culture has made its way into the classrooms, it has yet to have a negative effect on education.
Even though slang and abbreviations have not found their way into scholarly work, that does not mean that they will not in the future, as youth culture continues to dominate. The rules of language are changing and will continue to evolve for the rest of time.